Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. In today's episode, I want to talk about financial planning in COVID era. Does it still make sense to plan financially? Does it still make sense to talk about financial planning while while there has been so many lockdowns and while we cannot go out, while we cannot socialize, when we cannot spend money? Yes. The answer is yes, because despite all the lockdowns, we're still shopping online. Despite all the lockdowns, we still have our bills to pay. We still have to pay our mortgage. We still have to pay for our loans, our credit cards. We still have to pay for our rent, our electricity. We still have to wear clothes. We still have to feed. We still have to pay for our college tuitions. And the list goes on and on and on. So therefore, my friends, it is important that we keep talking about financial planning and how to become financially independent through a carefully planned where you can save up for your future and invest or start a business or whatever you want to do with your money, because the money is yours. And and like my show says, or my show's name is financial planning. Your money, it's your life. It's your money, it's your life. However you want to manage it, however you want to use it, it's up to you. We still have to manage our money, but it's not just for the immediate aftermath of. It's not just for now. We're talking about long-term sustainability. We're talking about long-term survival. We're talking about long-term building wealth for the long haul. You know, building wealth for the next generation. So if our goal is to build wealth for the future generations, regardless COVID-19, you know, we should still be building wealth. Because look at it today, Wall Street is all-time high. The rich is still getting richer, and the poor, or why the poor is getting poorer. So why shouldn't we, or why can't we keep talking about financial planning? Why can't we keep talking about savings, paying off our debt, and venturing out to take risk, to do those things that we think, that we believe that can help us become financially independent and live the life of nothing missing, nothing broken? I think one of the biggest challenge with regards to the pandemic is mental health. Mental health is a big issue as a result of not socializing, as a result of not meeting up with other folks, as a result of not being able to be in contact with folks, So mental health comes as a result of isolation. But the truth of the matter is, if you do not have the finance, if you do not have the numbers, I mean the dough, the money, if you don't have the money, you cannot even seek a professional help, So money answers all things. Regardless who you are, where you live, the color of your skin, or the language that you speak, money answers all things. And that is why we must make every effort to get it, because money is meant to serve us. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, it's not just trying to, or for oneself, but also trying to help folks that I need. You know what I'm saying? So it's about reaching out, because anyone that is trying to build wealth for him or herself alone without giving that wealth out is only wasting his or her time, because that wealth ain't gonna last. Mental health is an issue that has become so prevalent because of COVID-19. And the reason why it's affecting so many people is because of isolation and lack of human interaction. And in addition to those, is also lack of capital or lack of fund to seek professional help. Often the time people think that that nobody cares. Let me put it that way. But actually, people do care about you. People do care about them. So because they feel that their people don't care, so they isolate themselves, thinking that they can do it all alone. But that is not possible because that is not how human functions. And but let's face it, what really causes mental health? Mental health comes about as a result of either one has an or experience shock, either by losing someone, or one as a result of feeling inferior because one is overweight or one is smoking or whatever. There's this taboo or stigma that has been thrown at different people and things like that. And as a result, people begin to introspect and not really broaden themselves out to share with other people. So they face mental health. Their mental health begin to deteriorate and begin to need a helping hand. But very few people really step out of the way to really seek help. You know, and even when they do, they find it's because it's kind of a taboo or it's kind of shameful to talk about mental health, you know. But there's no shame in reaching out for help when you know you're struggling on something like, for example, because of COVID-19, people have lost their job and struggling to get on that job or struggling because you've lost someone during this period, during this time of COVID. Now, that and you not interacting with people, you're not sharing that emotion with somebody else that can help you deal with it, can help you handle better what you are mentally going through, that you can share with somebody that can begin to see things the way, begin to feel your pain to some extent, you know, then you end up isolating yourself and eventually making the wrong decisions or taking the wrong turn, you know. Therefore, one of the impacts of COVID is, or one of the impacts of all these lockdowns, let me put it that way, is mental health. And I think people need to share more and people need to interact more so that they can they know how to deal with that aspect of challenge. Because if you're telling somebody about financial independence, and you can only talk to a healthy person, you can only talk to somebody who can make reasonable decision about financial independence, you know, uh, before COVID has brought anxiety disorder to many of us. So many of us are anxious. So many of us are so worried as to what tomorrow will bring for them and their family, for them and their loved ones. So there is a great deal of anxiety, and that has created disorder in many families. Also, behavioral and emotional disorder in children because they can't go to school, they cannot socialize, they cannot meet their friends. In some families, they've seen their kids having some behavioral and emotional disorders, you know, because of them sitting in one place, they can relate to their mates and to their friends and schoolmate, you know. And also we've seen a lot of bipolar affective disorder in some people, and depression. so many of us um, are so depressed because of COVID, and that is understandable because we're so anxious. We don't want to. We don't want to. There's anxiety in us because we don't want to catch COVID-19, and also there is this, and because of that, there is this anxiety. There is this depression in the process. You know, we're so depressed because we are always thinking day and night is COVID. If you open your television, it's about COVID. Newspapers about COVID. Open your WhatsApp, it's about your Insta, it's about COVID. Your Facebook, it's about COVID. Your Twitter is about COVID. Everywhere we've been bombarded with COVID. You know, so and that has caused it's causing a lot of depression. A lot of folks are so depressed because of COVID-19. I think it's time we begin to step out boldly. And also, or in addition to that, there's also this associative disorder, because of there is no human interaction, or we're no longer associating with folks. It has created eating disorder in some people, you know, obsessive compulsion disorder. Some people have become so paranoia in so many cases. So, but I can tell you folks that regardless what you're experiencing or what you're going through because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19, you are not alone. You know, you are not alone. But also remember that hope and belief are the two tools or instrument that you have to be able to deal and come out successfully, come out on the other side successfully. Don't ever lose hope and don't ever lose that self belief. You must believe in yourself. You must believe in that power, not just believe in yourself, in your five senses, but believing in yourself, that self that you don't see, that self that is beneath the surface, that self that is still, that self that is calculative, talking about your divine self, the power within you, and that's the power of your mind. Because all the power in existence are in your mind, you know, and therefore you can utilize, you can direct your mind, you can utilize the power of your mind, you can direct it towards that which you desire, that which you want. That is financial independence. Because I can tell you, the wealthy folks and the rich folks, I've seen some folks in Dubai, flying to Dubai. I've seen some folks flying with a private jet to islands and going on vacation. Why the rest of us are in our houses or in their houses and cannot go anywhere, But you don't have to blame them because they work hard for it, or they believe in themselves to acquire wealth. And likewise, you can do the same thing. And that is the reason why, regardless your situation today, you can turn it around. It can be turned around because remember, no condition is permanent. And whatever that goes up must surely come down, because it's a law, it's a universal law that cannot be broken. And after the day, night must come, and after the night, they must be done. They must be done. After the night comes the dawn. So this is a law that can never be broken, and everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. That is why we're born one day, and at a certain point in our lives, whether we get to 100 or 200 or whatever years we're able to live on Earth, we will die. Because everything dies, and everything started life at some point and died at some point. So everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. Likewise, COVID-19 has had a beginning, or has a beginning at some point in 2019, and we also surely have an end at some point. That for sure. So therefore, my friends, don't ever lose hope and don't ever be depressed and don't ever be mad or angry because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Plan what you're going to do when the light comes on. Preparing folks for when there's light at the end of the tunnel of COVID, when the light comes on, and COVID is finally gone. That is why we're recording all this podcast to help folks prepare for life after COVID. That is why you need to plan, and plan your financial, have your financial planning and plan for your financial independence because it's so important. You cannot wait until it is over before you can start planning. You have to plan. You have to start planning now so that when it is over, you can begin to see the opportunities because the opportunities are there, but you must believe that the opportunities are there for you to see them, for you to utilize them, for you to seize the opportunity, for you to break through. You must believe that the opportunities are there. And for you to believe that the opportunities are there, you must be prepared for the opportunities. You must be ready for the opportunities, to see them and to take advantage of them. And the only way you can do that is when you have an effective planning now, have an effective planning on your financial independence so that you can know when to start saving again or when to start saving, when to start investing, when to start paying off your debt, or when to start, helping somebody else, in your community or within your friends or whoever that you can help with the resources that you've been given. Because the resources, the wealth, the riches, the whatever that you will acquire in the process, they're not just for you, but they're for you to help others. But that must start with planning. You must plan now so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that will come at the end of COVID for you to begin to live the life that you desire, that you want, that you dream of, and that you fought for so hard for. You know, I don't want to scare anyone, but I want to make this prediction, and I want to say this: there will be another COVID in the next 5 to 10 years. There will be another COVID, you know, and when that will hit, it will look as if we've not learned from this COVID. Therefore, folks need to prepare, ahead of time. I'm not trying to. I'm not saying that I know where it's going to come from, but there will be another COVID. As long as we're living on Earth, as long as we're here with birds and with animals, there will be another COVID in no distant future from now. So therefore, it's now time for us to begin to prepare whenever whenever it will come, we're prepared. Because the reason why the world is going through what is going through now, because no one ever anticipated this magnitude of impact from the COVID. Nobody, you know, and despite the experience of SARS in 2006, 2005, thereabout, you know, but SARS wasn't as severe as this. So everybody played it down and said, oh, okay, it's just another flu. Now we're just learning that it's more than that. So therefore, folks, let us put our financial house in order and create a future that regardless whatever we hit us down the road, we know we're prepared and we can face the battle, because we have our armor. You can go to war without armor. You can't go to war without protective equipment. You can't go to war without having your body shield. So therefore, and the only way you can have your body shield against another COVID is for you to have a good financial planning, is for you to become financially independent so that, just look at it, like I said before, the work to do in society, the millionaires and the billionaires, even there are no flights, planes are not flying, but these folks are going on exotic vacations. They're flying up on their private jets and going on exotic vacations. They're going to islands, them and their families having good time. Why? Because they planned for these, for this type of events, and because secondly, they can afford it. So therefore, nobody can tell them, no, you ain't gonna go there, because they can afford the best doctors, or afford the COVID vaccine. They can afford to go on vacation on islands that nobody, there are a few folks down there or whatever, only them and their family live in the islands. Why? Because they can afford it, and they started this process years ago, financial planning, saved the little that they had, started their own businesses. Some of them have failed hundreds of times in many businesses, yet they never gave up. So friends, it's not a time to give up. You can't give up on yourself, and you can give up on the world that you live in. It is time to fight on. It is time to know that, yes, regardless what is pushing you down, you can keep pushing forward, and refuse the craving, refuse the giving, and refuse to disbelieve. Believe in yourself, believe in that which you have, and that which you have is the power of your mind, and the hope therein. I read a book which says faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things not seen. So faith is evidence of things hoped for. So hope you can't allow to fail you. It's what you have, it's what you and I have, and those we can utilize to plan ourselves, plan our ways out of poverty, out of lack, out of fear, out of want, out of desperation, out of lack, into a future where we can live in abundance, where we can live in command, where we can live in joy, in prosperity, in happiness, in success, where we can live, in compassion, in empathy, in meekness, in kindness, where we can live in intelligence and power and in creativity. Okay, folks. But before I go, I'm giving you another opportunity to register in one of my webinars, or register in Nido's Financial Academy, where you can learn more of these tips and hear from me directly, but if this podcast has been of any help to you, like I always say, please share, because it's by sharing that we help one another become better, do better, and achieve better. And until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye for now.